What's up everybody, welcome to Money Management channel. My name is Andrei and today I'm gonna be doing an update on MMTLP and FINRA saga.
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up.
So guys, and for today's video I have several quite interesting news. First of all, I will show you an update from your favorite SGM, from Daniel Oxer, the person who is also pursuing the litigation and non-litigation path to the resolution, and he has something to say. On top of that, guys, I will show you some updates in regards to the actions of other countries in order to prevent the illegal activity on their stock markets, and how this experience might be implemented on the US stock market. And the most important part of today's video is the let's say conversation of the conversation that is surrounding the Rob Carter show. And to be honest, guys, today's fact and today's conversation leads me to the conclusion that the huge step towards the resolution and potentially huge chunk of the resolution itself will be from the community itself, from the internal part of the community. So, and before we dive deep into all of this, guys, please hit the like button for YouTube algorithm and drop me a line in the comment section if you think my videos are valuable for you. On top of that, if you want to know more about technical analysis, if you want to enhance your trading skills, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel and to join my Patreon account. And guys, I'm recording this part of the video on June 28th, and within less than a week I will close some of cheap member tiers, and let me show you just a sneak peek on the most recent call that I made just 2 days ago. You know that yesterday on Friday session on June 27th, Coinbase lost substantial amount of its value, and I made this set of posts the day before on Thursday. You can see it right here. It is June 26th, Thursday, June 26th of this year, and this top I caught to the tick. I made it for my patrons, and the major sell-off happened the very next day on Friday. And guys, you can see that I made a perfect call, and it is not the only call that I made. You can find other similar achievements in the Patreon articles, and that is why, guys, if you want to be a part of this community, feel free to join my Patreon, because within next several days you will not have these lucrative prices. So, and let's begin with Daniel Oxer's Twitter account. Just less than 24 hours ago, he changed some pictures on his Twitter account, and he made several posts. And I have to admit that he didn't do it quite a while. And let me quote you first of all this one that he pinned at the top of his page. He's singing, "Here we go again, same old stuff again, marching down the avenue, 6 more days and we'll be through. I'll be glad and so will you." And guys, this means that Daniel is pushing his case forward, and I have to say that potentially he already filed the second lawsuit, and all the details I believe he will disclose within several days, and I will write him a letter in order to find out these details. But let me show you this. It is a sneak peek on his potential actions. He wrote this just less than 24 hours ago. "Someone please find me the consulting agreement for C-Plant, something like 10K a month, 10K a month to consult as a part of his loan agreement with NextBridge that was written on 2023 or 2024. I just need a screenshot, thanks." And he added that someone supplied him with this, and Manuel basically gave him a direct link to the acc.gov Edgar website, and Daniel found this information, and on top of that, guys, wait a second. Yes, he wrote this: "Sexy, I'm going to bust balls with the lawyer that he's genius as didn't think to do that. I am the crayon nibbler here. At least I thought to ask the internet, and it worked." So, guys, we know that C-Plant is the person who potentially cooked some details about the Orogrande, let's say, oil and gas inside the Orogrande Basin, and this fact attracted a lot of potential shareholders who bought MMTLP shares back in the days. On top of that, guys, with this agreement that he was hired by NextBridge Hydrocarbons, we might conclude that these actions was made intentionally in order to propel the price of NextBridge. But everything should be proven in court, and that is why, guys, Daniel is working hard to push his case, old case and the new case forward to see the resolution. And let me show you some details from Junk Savvy. She refers to the tweet that was written by Kristen Shaughnessy, and Kristen wrote this 21 hours ago. South Korea to introduce one strike out system against illegal stock trading. And in my opinion, it is very, very good news that is directly related to potential illegal activity on the South Korean stock market. And Junk Savvy wrote this: South Korea goes hard, one strike rule for illegal stock trading. Now that is how you take care of business. Clearly, South Korea recognizes market manipulation as a serious threat. When will the United States enforce stock settlement? And I have to admit that yes, a lot of shady actions happens on a daily basis on the U.S. stock market, and even the so-called naked short activity is still happening at this very moment on the U.S. stock market. That is why, guys, authorities should make some steps to solve this problem, and with this step, the U.S. stock market will definitely be much more transparent and much more, let's say, convenient and affordable for the ordinary people. So, and let's switch to the main news of today's video. You know that Rob Carter invited, let's put it this way, the other side of MMTLP community. And the other side are the people. Partially they are so-called 1209 community who filed lawsuits and who mentioned as a potential defendants C-level executives of Torchlight, NextBridge and Metamaterials. And that is why some community members don't like their actions, because they think that this path leads the MMTLP community nowhere. And guys, here is a quite interesting part. You know that John Burda just recently attended the Rob Carter show, and he answered some questions in regards to MMTLP saga. But to be honest, I think some questions, well, potentially Rob Carter didn't know the questions that he had to ask, because John Burda's actions might also be a part of the bigger issue of MMTLP community. And I will show you, I will explain you in a minute my thoughts, but for now, let me explain you and let me show you some interesting updates. Jen Vitrana, in response to Rob Carter's invitation to his interview, wrote this: 1209 community is willing to come on show. Slocum and Scott Roth volunteered on X. No one over this way is any paid influencer. Matter of fact, 1209 expended thousands of dollars and lawsuits in an effort to get discovery. And Mark wrote in response to this: Rob Carter, you should have the 1209 crew as a guest on your show if you want to take a broad look at corruption in dealing with MMTLP issue. Every good journalist examines the totality of circumstances in their reporting. There are definitely two very divergent aspects to this matter: possible regulatory abuse and failure of oversight, and the possible pump and dump utilizing social media influencers, space hosts and other posters. Scott Roth has an interesting take on this, and the 1209 plaintiffs have expanded the investigation. Just saying. So, and Rob Carter responded: I agree, I'm unfamiliar with 1209 crew. However, any info that clarifies this situation, let me know. I will be having Daniel on soon. And the next tweet surprised me a lot. John Burda wrote this: Daniel Spears? Is this the same Daniel Spears that filed a pro se case against me and others with so-called no help from others? all on their own accord, not acting in concert with each other, C1209 group, with no communication with an attorney, with no pictures taken in the attorney's office, with an attorney who I had engaged with prior. That Daniel. And Mike wrote, I believe so. And here Mark Basil wrote this. And what would this so-called attorney's motive be? Please be specific. And Mike responded, just curious, why you even talking about it? We haven't heard from you until now. Really, so what gives? And Mark responded, why would you question my motives when you know absolutely nothing? I've done more legal work for community shareholders than any other attorney. At least I tried. You jumped on a Twitter statement bandwagon designed to steer you into action and again misdirect attention away from 1209 and what they will say on radio and onto me as some sort of anti-MMTLPer. So again, what are my motives? Be specific, because I will sue anyone that paints me intentionally in a false light. Look that claim up. It's called False Light Mike. And Mike responded, I'm not sure anymore about anything, Mark. You have done a lot initially and still maybe behind the scenes. You aligned yourself with individuals who spew hate and BS towards myself and those I care about in the community. That's your right, but it doesn't make it right either. Roman Soups, Raccoon, Ocelot and the whole bunch are still here for what? Didn't you fight for us to get a resolution? Where did you go in that regard? I like you, but you went down the wrong path because you got pissed off at some, and we both know. Right, that Italian can cause your temper to screw you up. I know, as it has myself many times. I and many of us are tried and want this over with. Those who went to DC, who followed our hard-working community members, who spent large sums of time and money to be followed by morons trying to undermine our efforts. When anyone lands in their camp, they become my enemy. Sorry, if the shoe fits, that Italian is coming out now. And Mark responded, I went to Congress the day Anna and Syntax did. In fact, I met them there. I didn't associate myself with any one group, but I did participate in both group spaces to discuss the law and options, like arbitration, class actions, and taking your own legal action. I initially supported the congressional effort, but told the community I doubted they would take action almost 3 years ago. I explained that I believed the only resolution will be through the courts, and so far I have been right, because all other avenues have failed, and I have always maintained the position that there could be two issues going on at the same time, FINRA fraud and P&D. I told everyone that they have no actual proof of FINRA fraud, and they didn't. What proof they thought they had was not even a threshold for the New York courts to order turnover of the bullshits. But I tried. I have done so much more on my own dime. Mike, that's absurd. You even thought of jumping on the bandwagon to question my motives. All I do is sue hedge funds on behalf of issuers and their shareholders, and we win a lot of those cases or force settlements. Your community is full of a bunch of morons, cult followers and more. You let space hosts espouse theories without any proof and rile you up emotionally that obviously you and many others can't even think straight. And on the point with spewing hate, I have seen many people in that Jack asshole spaces when he spews hate on me. If you are going to hold me on that standard, you need to hold everyone to that standard. But guess what? There would be nobody left. I liked you. I think you and many others have been easily manipulated due to the stress this whole situation has caused you. I didn't do that to you, but I have been utilized to misdirect many people away from at least one of the truth paths. Ask the right questions to the executives and their board members, the social media influencers of the SEC and FINRA. I know there is a way more to this story than many others want to hear. It's coming, I know that. And Mike responded, well, count on this. The nefarious actors thought taking metamaterials down would close the book. Well, it's opened that and eventually the trustee is going to get discovery as many subpoenas have gone out. Of course, they want that info sealed by the court, and we shall see on that. I understand that lots of negativity went all around, and personally don't care for it until it's warranted. So, if the bankruptcy court led to a resolution, then you were right. The president and members of his cabinet are aware of our situation, but every time we get set back by Iran or others things, the big bill, etc. So we shall see. I hold no issues with anyone until they do legal things that make no sense and could cause the community to lose. That's it. And guys, I have to admit that I understand both sides of this conversation, and what is more importantly, I see from my perspective that there is much bigger issue in the MMTLP community. And let me explain you my thoughts. So first of all, as I mentioned yesterday, we have two group of people inside MMTLP community who invested in MMTLP itself. First of all, it was the people who invested in TRCH, and they hold their shares through the spin-off, through the merger with MMAT, and they received MMTLP shares that shouldn't be tradable by any means. And these MMTLP shares were just a dividend placeholder, and through these dividends, original TRCH shareholders should receive the payments from the sales of the oil and gas assets. And we know that these oil and gas assets were just smoke and mirrors. And this is the main question, guys. First of all, the MMTLP shares should not be tradable by any means. This means, well, if there is a half of 65,000 shareholders who originally bought TRCH and who received their MMTLP shares through spin-off, these people, this huge chunk of MMTLP community, cannot blame authorities at all, because the only problem in this story is that they were misled by C-levels executives, because they thought that there is a lot of oil and gas inside the Orogrande Basin, and this will lead to huge dividends, and because of this they invested in TRCH. The second part of the community was the people who bought MMTLP shares when they become tradable. And in this case, guys, we also have several, let's say, several group of people. One of them made their own due diligence, and they also were misled by the people who made official statements back in the days. And the second part invested because of the pump and dump actions that were performed by the group of people, and I don't want to name these people. You definitely might know who these people are, but these people might be guilty in these actions. And one of my viewers consistently asking me in the comment section, who will pay you if the resolution comes? And guys, the answer is simple. It depends on the case-by-case basis. If you were original TRCH shareholder, this means you should be paid by the people who misled you. And I think you can name these names. The second group of people were misled by a completely different group of people. And this group of people allegedly were paid by, again, some people who was in the board of directors of MMTLP or TRCH or Next Bridge Hydrocarbons. And this is another tricky situation. And the actions that happened back in 2021 and 2022 potentially was the reason of the U3 halt. But this U3 halt is another completely different story of this case, because the U3 halt and the mess around the dates of its implementation might lead to another potential option who might pay you back your initial investment. And these cases, guys, on the one hand, they are completely separate, but on the other hand, these cases are tied up together extremely closely. And because of all of this information, I think the only path to the resolution is through litigation processes. And guys, we know that Well, we have several lawsuits that are on the table, and we have a lot of people who, well, who want their money one way or another. And guys, ask yourself if the resolution comes from, let's say, the other part of the community that you don't support. Will you accept it? I think the answer is obvious. And that is why, guys, the result is pretty much the same. The ending result should be the same for all MMTLP shareholders. But the paths to this resolution might be different. And that is why, guys, well, I have a lot more information to cover on today's video. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time. But definitely, well, I will do another update within the next 24 hours, and I will show you another chunk of my investigation. And well, I will show you some interesting details in regards to this story. I think that's all information that I want to provide you. If you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel with notification bell. And see you guys and girls next time. Bye!
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up on the attack.